It's really been a long time. So welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. My name is Elisa and this is going to be one of my regular podcasts. They have not been very regular lately. But yeah, that's the intention of coming on here from time to time to show you what I am doing in my knitting mostly, almost exclusively. Sometimes I crochet, but not very often. Sometimes I sew clothes for myself, but again, not very often. And I never found a way anyway to like show that properly. So if you want to stay up to date a little more on those things as well, there's my Instagram as well. All the links to everything I'm talking about are going to be below, so you'll find them there, including, I might mention some tutorials for some of the things that I'm presenting today. Those will also be linked below. Anyway, before we start with my knitting for the first trimester of 2026 already, because now it's the end of March 2026, I just wanted to show this that has some lint on it. This is my Lulu Slipover, a pattern by PetiteKnit, and I actually started it and finished it in 2025. I think I finished it in 2025. Yeah, I should check, but yes, most surely I finished it in 2025, and I haven't shown it since. So if you've been here before, maybe you've been thinking, I'm sure these all 3 months you've been thinking, what has she done with that sleepover? Well, here it is. And my plan was also to make like a deep dive video for this one, because this is really a great piece and easily my favorite piece of 2025, which I needed at the very end of the year, but doesn't matter. It's a very, very polished piece, and I highly recommend the pattern. I've never come around to making that deep dive video, but who knows, maybe in the future. But it's been definitely worn in the meantime quite a lot. I didn't plan to talk about it a lot, because this is going to be about 2026, the first 3 months of 2026. So bear with me. There's a Ravelry project page, so if you're curious about the details, you can refer to that one. I just wanted to say that it's finished, it's lovely. I really, really like it in every possible respect. The other sleepover that I finished in January, it's something I made last year, but I started last year. Last year in November, I started three sleepovers, and the third one was this one. It's very dark, so it's difficult to show it. I would see if I have some photos of close-ups of the fabric that show better than today. But you can see, I think, a bit of the texture. This is the Slanting Slipover by Ventzel. It also has deep armholes, kind of the same as the Lulu Slipover. They are quite deep. Kind of the same fit, although this one is a bit more oversized for me than this. Anna Ventzel's patterns are sometimes quite oversized, so I went for a bit less ease than recommended, because looking at the Ravelry pages, I thought, you know, the sleepover looked better on people when it was a bit more fitted, and that's usually my preference anyway. But okay. This was finished in January, so technically it's a 2026 finished object. I'm also not going to talk too much about this. I also have a Ravelry project, and I want to say that I am not as happy with this as I am with the Lulu. I think there were some big hiccups in the pattern. And I also got a bit put off, you know, because when you read the like the questions to the designer on Ravelry, all the answers were like, no, the pattern is perfect, the pattern is perfect, just go along. But if you go along, you bump into those hiccups, you're not able to actually follow the pattern the way you should. So it really requires, let's say, way more attention. Where this one really takes you by the hand, this one that also has a texture and the shaping and everything doesn't. So be aware of that. But yeah, I have some comments in my Ravelry project. One other thing that I want to point out is that for the way it is constructed, the shoulder seam, because there's a shoulder seam here where you pick up the stitches, slides down on the front, and I consider this a huge design mistake. The shoulder seams should be at the back, not at the front. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. But for the way it's designed, it comes towards the front. And if you look at Anna Ventzel's photos on Ravelry or on our website, you can definitely see it. But I didn't pay attention to that. So if I had noticed before, I don't think I would have knitted the Slipover, or I would have modified it anyway to avoid this, because when you wear it, it's really not nice. Luckily mine is so dark that it's not very visible. But I have to say that I haven't worn this very much, maybe a couple of times since finishing it, whereas with this one I've been wearing it like all the time, literally. Okay, but this was possibly my first finished object of January 2026, and oh, I'm thinking now that I have something else that I forgot to bring upstairs. I will go down later and insert a little clip of it. It's a scarf that I knitted in the same yarn. I didn't mention that this yarn is an old stash yarn that I had in two colors, this blue and what is it, like a cream color. And yeah, I was sort of fed up seeing that in my drawer all the time, so I decided I had to make something with it. Okay, the second finished object I'm going to show you is a partial finished object. So if you've noticed on the channel, I have a video, a Frogger finish video that I published, I think at the end of 2025. And so this is technically a frogged and finished project, knitted in 2025 in another form, and then partially frogged and reknit. I reknit the leg. This sock was an ankle sock that I did like it, but I didn't wear it, and I like to wear my knits. So I knitted the leg, just a simple ribbed leg. So with like every ribbed leg sock, it has a very weird shape, but then when you wear it, it becomes like normal, like a normal sock, normal looking sock. This is a wool and cotton blend and some kind of polyamide or some synthetic fiber. This video is even more improvised than usual because I've been wanting to film it for a while now, and I didn't seem to find the time. And then this afternoon, all of a sudden, it's Saturday today, so I said, okay, it's now or never, let's do it. So I don't have the labels for the yarn. I don't know what I'm gonna tell you guys, but yeah, bear with me. Okay, anyway, it's by RICO design. Everything will be below anyway, so you can check there. And yeah, what I found interesting is that it's a cotton and wool blend, so I'm very curious to wear these socks and see not only how they hold up, you know, but also how they feel, because so far I think I've only knitted wool socks, I mean wool blend socks, and yeah, so I'm curious. I have another cotton blend yarn for socks that I'm gonna use this year for sure, so we will see if this is a new thing, because with woolen socks sometimes I feel that they are a little bit too warm, so I really only wear them when it's super cold outside. And it would be nice to have an alternative, something that you can wear like in this season when it's cold, but not super cold. Okay, I'm going to quickly grab that scarf that I mentioned before. I think it's time. Okay, I'm back, and it's a good thing I went downstairs to grab the scarf because I forgot another finished object that I had left downstairs. And I mean, it's been 3 months, so yeah, I have a lot of things that I finished, I suppose. So this is it. Yeah, you can see that it's kind of the same. They were meant to go together in a color work that never happened. And this is modeled on the Sophie shawl. I actually wanted to make that one, but I realized that I probably wouldn't have enough yarn for it. So I just, yeah, knitted the 2 parts of the scarf, omitting the hood. It was like an easy peasy, very wearable, very warm, very nice scarf. It's been one of my favorites for the very cold first few weeks of the year. And the other finished object that I almost forgot downstairs is this. It's my rosy mittens, and aren't they super lovely? They are very, very lovely. They are so sweet and cute. I really like them, but you can see I've been wearing them, and I've been wearing them to ride my bike. So here we're, you know, the bike has those rubber handles, so they've been like, yeah, peeling a lot. But it's okay, it's the inside anyway, because the 2 gloves, you know, it's right and left glove. It's only for the right and left is only for the pattern, so that it mirrors. But yeah, I've been wearing them as right and left, so the part that is peeling is always on the inside, on the palm of my hand. So these are super cute. I am so happy I made them, but it's one of those things that you knit for the finished object and definitely not for the process. If you're a process knitter, please don't even think of making these, because they are a nightmare to knit. Oh well, it depends what you like, I suppose. For me, this color work was really boring, if I'm honest. I had to look at literally every stitch on the chart, because not every stitch, but like, you know, you're like, okay, 3 white, 4 blue, and then 1 white, 2 blue. You have to constantly go back and refer to the chart, and it's really not, sorry, I'm looking at crazy weather. It started to rain all of a sudden. The sky is blue, so I don't know where the rain comes from. But yeah, it's really not a smooth and straightforward process. That's what I'm saying. And we actually bought this pattern, me and a friend, to knit the gloves as a knit along, to familiarize with the pattern before knitting the sweater. That was the idea, because I really like that sweater. But I don't think I can face doing this for a whole sweater, if I'm completely honest. I mean, no. No. Other color work I like when it's like more rhythmic. This one was really, really not my thing. One thing that I want to try and show is that the white yarn is an Angora yarn that is fluffy, and I don't think you can see it. Maybe like this a little bit. So I really, I'm really glad I made this choice, because I like the, you know, the different texture between this one. This is like a regular superwash merino wool. It's cool wool. This one, the white one, is an Angora yarn that I bought at some festival like ages ago, and I've used it in so many projects because it doesn't weigh much, but it's super light, so it went for kilometers for thousands of stitches. So yeah, that was definitely a success. It's something I'm really enjoying to wear. Okay, next up in terms of finished projects is a new pattern. This is going to be a new pattern of mine, and it's going to be out mid-May. I will also put in some photos of how you can style it. As you can see, it's a mesh lace shawl, and it's meant to be a summer shawl. The yarn is Sussurro by Malabrigo. You can see it here in another color. And the reason why I cannot show you the skein is that this is one skein. Almost exactly one skein of yarn to the meter. And yeah, it's something that I find very satisfactory to like complete a project and use up all the yarn. So this was the idea that Malabrigo supports in their Quickies program. So the yarn has been gifted to me by them to be part of that program. That's why I also know when the pattern has to be out, because they have a yearly schedule for projects that use one skein or maximum 2 skeins. So this is one skein of 100 gram and roughly 300 meters. But obviously you can use any yarn of any weight. You could use a very chunky yarn and get a much bigger shawl, or you can use like a woolen yarn and make this into a winter shawl or something for the colder season. This yarn is Sussurro, is 50% silk, as you can see from the drape, 25% linen and 25% wool, which is a fantastic blend. I'm not sure if I can show you how shiny it is, how shiny and light. I have another project on the needles knitted in this yarn, so you'll be able to see that better on that project. This color is called Fire Agate. I hope I pronounce it correctly. It's the name of a stone, I think. Yes. But anyway, it's just a triangular shawl that grows rather quickly because you, how do you say, you increase on both sides. So you start at the bottom tip and then you increase on both sides quite rapidly, and you knit an I-cord as you go, and then also bind off with an I-cord. So it starts also with the I-cord tab cast on. It's a 1 row repeat, so it's a very easy lace. If you're new to lace and you want to like start a project, this is just ideal, because you will learn the basics, so the yarn overs and the knit 2 togethers, but there's just nothing difficult in this one. So shall we drape it on Dolly here? There. You're all set, Dolly. Very nice. I like it. Okay, so I'm going to knit a second sample in another color, a more spring-like color. And yeah, hopefully I will be on time for the release mid-May. I have also been working on another new pattern that will be released later in the year. The pattern is almost ready. It's in the tech editing phase, and my first sample is finished, and it's actually what I am wearing. And I'm smiling this much because I am totally in love with this sweater that I'm wearing. Let me show you a little bit better. Yeah, the back, I suppose, is not very interesting except for the shoulder, which has a European construction, and it has this nice textured stitch. It's a honeycomb stitch, but not what they call honeycomb brioche. It's just a simple old school brioche. So also a very, very easy peasy stitch to knit, because it's only knit and knit one and knit below, and then at the back, so yeah, on the wrong side when you come back, so the body is knitted flat, okay, but the beauty of it is that when you go back on the wrong side, you also knit all the stitches. So it's, let's say, a texture stitch for lazy knitters like me, because it's really the easiest thing. And it has this double knitted band that is knitted at the same time as the fronts, and it overlaps here. And yeah, I just really love it. I love everything about it. I love the deep v-neck. I don't own many v-neck sweaters, and I always find that the high v-necks are not very feminine, in my opinion. Sometimes I still like them, I just don't find them very feminine, but these ones so deep, yeah, I just like it better. It's just more my style. And so yeah, the yarn is also a very nice keepsake for me, a very nice memory of a trip to Istanbul that I took with my husband already, I think, a couple of years ago. Yeah, maybe 3 years ago. I think it might have been 2023 actually. Yes, and it's a Turkish yarn, and the brand is called Gazal, and it's hand dyed, but there's also a non-hand dyed version. The non-hand dyed version is called Aura, A-U-R-A, and this one is called Unicorn, and it comes in this very vibrant colors. I picked this blue, which is a favorite of mine, like my favorite color of all times. When I was a girl, I also loved, you know, the, yeah, this, what would you call it, like what's this stone, the lapis lazuli blue. I'm also wearing my lapis lazuli earrings that, by the way, I have also made at my goldsmith class. So okay, am I being too proud of myself? Maybe I'm being too proud of myself. Sorry about that, but you know, when I make beautiful things, I can't help it. I can't help it. But okay, so what have I forgotten to tell? Yeah, I was talking about the yarn. So the yarn is 100% merino wool, hand dyed. I said that. It has around 200 meters in 100 grams. So it knits up to 17 stitch gauge. And since I don't think I will be ready to call for test knitters anytime soon, I think this might go after the summer. So the test knitting will actually probably start in September. I was hoping to be able to announce the test knitting in this video, but I really need the time to make sure that everything is up to the standard that I want, because I think this, together with the Aneta, is one of my best patterns and my best designs. So I really want it to be just very good, just as good as I can make it. And I'm actually working with a tech editor that I'm very happy with. She's been so precise and thorough in, you know, in the first pass that we have done for the pattern. But, you know, most of the work is up to me as the designer. Of course, I have to find a way to make sure that everything is not only correct, but also clear. And there are a few things that are a bit difficult to explain. They're not difficult in itself, but they're difficult to explain, and they're new to me as a designer, because I haven't put out that many patterns, and whenever I create a new pattern, I want to do something new, something more challenging. So it's the first time, for example, that I design a garment with a European shoulder. Of course, I have self-drafted many many things that I can wear, but that's different. That's different because you can try them on yourself. You know your body very well, you know your measurements very well. But grading for a wider range of sizes is something completely different. It will still take some time for me to complete this process. But it will come, so if you're interested, if you're liking what you see, and if you are potentially interested in testing the sweater for me, make sure to keep an eye here and to keep an eye on my Instagram. And possibly after the summer we'll be ready with that. And if you've never tested anything and you want to know how it works, what happens is that you will get the pattern for free, and you will just basically knit the garment to give the designer, which is me, a feedback. That's all that there is to it. The feedback needs to be on the clarity of the pattern, on the sizing, like if you got a garment that is not as big or as small as I thought it would be, or if you have the right raw gauge but your sleeve is too long, for example. It can happen because all of this is calculated in abstract on a spreadsheet. So sometimes it does happen that things are not precise. Another very important thing is the yarn quantities. Those are also calculated based on the hypothetical measurements of the garment. So yeah, it's very important to know, to get a confirmation that your calculations are correct. But again, it's a 17 stitch gauge, and it's a really quick pattern to knit. So if you're curious about the test knitting process, maybe this is a good one to start with. So stay tuned for that. Okay, these are all my finished objects, and I think, yeah, not bad, right, for 3 months. I have a few works in progress. So one of my intentions for this year was to limit the number of works in progress, and I think I am succeeding in that. The first one I'm going to show you, you've seen before if you've been here before, and it's this one. This is called I Follow Rivers, and it's a pattern by a Swiss designer called Regina Mosmer. It's been around for a while. I started it in September last year. It's the same yarn as my little shawl, and so I consider it a summer yarn. It has some wool in it, but it's very light and airy, and I think it will be very wearable in summer, at least where I live. And yeah, so it was already mid-September when I cast it on, and I realized that I wouldn't be wearing it anytime soon. So I just decided to put it on hold for a while, and I've picked it up again now, and I am a good way down the body, as you can see there. I am very short, so that is a big advantage when you're knitting, because your garments don't need to be super long, and it will also relax. So now the yoke has been wet blocked, so you see that the lace is very relaxed and the bottom is a bit scrunched up. So yeah, it's probably longer than it looks now. It will be finished by the time I can wear it. My only concern here now is that the neckline is very wide, as you can see. It is a summer garment, so it probably doesn't matter that much. Maybe it's even not that wide. I will have to see. I will have to see when it's finished. It's a very classic lace pattern. Sometimes it's called horseshoe. Sometimes it's called peacock. It has another name as well. It's called old shale, I think. It has many variations, and I actually heavily modified this because the version in the original pattern had some knit to some pearl two togethers that I hated making. So what I did was change them up for some knit two togethers. That required some adjustments, some other adjustments, but the result is almost the same, and you don't get very big pearl bumps in the middle here, because yes, of course, the pearl two togethers create very big and visible pearl bumps that I didn't like, at least in this yarn. And of course, purling two together, I mean, it was too fiddly, so I modified it like this, and it works well, and it's not unpleasant to knit, I have to say, because again, it's just a lot of yarn overs, and then these 6 knit two togethers in the middle, so it's very rhythmic and quite enjoyable, in my opinion. And after making an ugly mistake, I think on this side at some point, for which I had to like rip back like this much and reconstruct the lace for like a lot of rows. I am counting, I'm really counting the stitches, so I know there are 17 in one repetition, so it's also very meditative, because if you keep counting in your head, that's a very classic meditation exercise. So I'm actually enjoying it. At some point maybe I lost motivation somehow, but yeah, now I have it again, so yeah, I'm happy to knit on it like a couple of rows every evening. So in no time, when you do that, you know, when you work consistently on something, then in no time it goes and it's done. So here on the stockinette part, maybe you can see the shine of this yarn. It's really, really nice. It's not very elastic, obviously, so that's potentially a disadvantage if you like very elastic yarns. Yes, it's especially for lace. I mean, sometimes you really have to push your needle in, but that's fine. I'm not struggling with it at all. Okay, second work in progress is a pair of socks. It's called Drowse. At least the original pattern is called Drowse, and I gifted myself this book for Christmas, and it's one of the patterns in here. I have a post-it note over it, and I'm also making notes here because, again, I heavily modified it. Let me see if I can show you the photo here. It's I want to say a floppy sock, but I don't think floppy is the right word. It's supposed to yes, floppy, to flop down your leg, and it's a brioche leg. So I have chosen for this a yarn that is 75% alpaca instead of 75% wool, and you can really feel the softness. So I hope that this really scrunches down on my leg. So something like that. It's Harriet Fine by Juniper Moon Farm, and it's the usual sock length, so more or less 420 meters in 100 grams. They have this beautiful label with the little sticker on it because it was a present from a friend. I really love this color for a pair of socks. The only thing is that I didn't want to knit this cuff down as in the original pattern. I preferred to knit my socks toe up, so that's what I did. I also did that because I wanted to make sure to use up all of the yarn. I hate to have leftovers, like I guess many of us, and I just wanted to make sure that that I used all of it. So I used my usual sock recipe, and I did a, what is this, a short row heel. I did oh my god, what's that called? Normally it's a German short row heel, or there's other techniques, but one of the good things of the slanting slipover is that I learned a new short row technique that has a yarn over. So basically when you turn the work to make your short row, you make a yarn over, and when you go back and you get to that yarn over, you knit the yarn over with the following stitch. So the yarn over creates a gap between the two stitches. It's a very huge and visible and scary gap on your needle in the beginning, because you're like, oh my god, what is this? But when you knit the yarn over together with the following stitch, it closes up the gap. So it hasn't been blocked yet, but I think you can see maybe that it's very, very smooth. At least it has no gaps. What you can see in here is also that I have knitted 2 rows between the 2 halves of the heel. Yeah, it really doesn't show that much, but yeah, there are no holes. That is visible enough. Okay, so I tried to do that on a pair of socks. I've never done it before, and we will see, of course, when I start wearing them, but I think it worked quite well, and that was to like raise, of course, the back of the heel a little bit to create a little more space there as well. So the foot is normal ribbing. The sole, of course, is stockinette. The foot is normal ribbing, and then you start the brioche on the leg. I have an ugly mistake here. When I picked them up, because I pick them up and then leave them and then pick them up again. So at some point here, I probably just picked them up and they don't really look what I was doing. So instead of, for example, wrapping and knitting, wrapping the purl stitches and knitting the knit with the yarn over that goes with it, I think I did the opposite or something, I don't know, but it's like half a row here at the back of the leg. But by the time I realized it was like too late to rip back, I didn't want it to rip back all this tiny brioche, and because again it's supposed to fold down, I don't think it will be visible anyway. And I decided, it took me a while, so I left it for a couple of days thinking, you know, what do I do with this? But yeah, I decided that I can live with it. It's socks. I can live with it. So don't make me rethink it. So don't write in the comments, no, you should have ripped it back, because I will delete that comment. I don't want to hear that. I know I should have ripped back, but I couldn't be bothered, and I don't want to hear that. So no, it's staying like this. So I have knitted the other foot as well, the foot of the other sock. But I want to finish this leg before I yes, I just wanted to have both feet and both heels done at the same time to make sure that I remember what I did basically, and then yes, I will knit on the leg. I really like knitting brioche, so even if it gets very long, it's supposed to get long because it has again to scrunch down. I don't really mind. Of course, I prefer knitting brioche flat instead of in the round, but this is also fine. And it's my first Xiaogu needle, this one, because I just wanted to try them, and I think it was a good buy. I quite like them. For the shorties, I have a lot of these ones that are Knit Pro. They're also okay, but I think the Xiaogus are really smoother, as they're supposed to be. Yes, they really are. Okay, the how do you say, next to last? I don't know. I have 2 more things to show you. One is this that I'm sure I haven't shown before. It's a self-drafted, easy peasy raglan sweater that I'm planning to make. Well, I have completed the raglan increases, so I hope that it is a bit oversized. I am experimenting with oversize a little bit. This garment is also a bit more oversized than I would normally like, but I think I'm getting there. Okay, I'm getting there. I used to knit my things very, very fitted for many years. Now I think I'm getting there. So the plan with this one, even if it's a very plain sweater, just meant to use up this gray yarn, which is Cool Wool by Lana Grossa. I'm also taking the opportunity again to experiment with a slightly more oversized raglan. And as you know, the challenge with oversized raglans is that you can't just keep increasing here, because you will get a line here, an armhole that is too low. So you have to find like the right balance between those two things. I'm also using it to try a new neck trick. Normally I would knit the neck, start to knit from the neck, so integrate the neck into my garment, because I quite like that, if I'm honest. But because I can't be bothered to go back and knit the neck after. But here what I want to do is knit those double, let's call them placket. They're not plackets. It's you see this in industrial garments, where around the neck there's like a little stockinette bump, and then the ribbing starts, and that bump encases the cast on. So there's one at the front and one at the back. So you pick up the stitches at the front, and you pick up some stitches on the wrong side as well. So you pick up the stitches on the right side and on the wrong side as well. You knit something like 4 or 5 rounds of stockinette on both sides, and then you join those stitches, knitting them together, and then you start your ribbing from there. So I'm gonna try and do that for this one, and it has, for me, the aesthetic advantage of looking a bit more refined, but also the practical advantage of not having to calculate that I want the knitted columns in line, aligned with the raglan lines here. Otherwise, for me, I mean, if I was to just pick up the stitches here and knit the neck up, I would like these raglan lines to align with the knitted part of my ribbing, or it would be unacceptable for me. I know, but I'm sure many people feel the same. But if there's something in between, then it doesn't matter that much, I think. And also, I think it's a very nice finish, so I wanted to try it, and this is the ideal garment to try that. So you see that the cuff is in another color, and that's because I don't have enough of the charcoal gray to knit the whole sweater, but I have leftovers of this same yarn, the Cool Wool, in other colors. And I bought a couple of balls of this gray that I think goes very nicely with the darker gray. So the cuffs will be in this color, the neck will be charcoal, but the rest of the body will have stripes of the gray and of this pink, which is a leftover yarn from a color work that I frogged a while ago. I don't think it shows. It looks lighter than it is. It is like a powder pink, but it has some, it does have some gray in it, some gray tones. I think this is that version of the Cool Wool that is called Vintage, which is a bit heathery. So, yeah, heathery is the word, I think. It's not a solid color. Let's see if, no, it just, I'm sorry, it just looks different. It looks gray, but it's a pink. And yeah, I have around 40 grams of this, so these stripes will be a little smaller and the gray stripes will be a little bigger, and I should have enough altogether to make my sweater nice and long. I'm planning to make a split hem for this one, and to make it like nice and tall like I did for the cuff. So that's that. I feel that I don't have much to go on that one because I have already started the cuff on the second sleeve, and that's of course for yarn management reasons. I decided to knit the sleeves first, so, and then I will knit the neck, and then whatever charcoal gray I have will go into the rest of the body to stripe with the other two colors. So possibly thinner dark stripes in between the gray and the pink stripes, and we will see. And I have a new cast on. So if you've watched my knitting bingo, I called it. It's not knitting plans because I don't want to set any specific goals for me this year, 2026, but I have a knitting bingo. So a Ravelry bundle from which I will randomly pick out patterns that I want to make in the course of the year. Hopefully all of them. I'm not sure because I have these two designs that are taking up a lot of my time, and this one in particular, the scarf, was not completely planned because I submitted for the Quickies program, but you're not sure if you are selected until, you know, at some point you will know, but you don't know. So when I made the Ravelry bundle, I didn't know yet. But anyway, the only thing that I am knitting on that is in that bundle is the sock. This was my New Year's cast on this year, so I'm very much behind with these ones, but the heel took me some time. But anyway, I thought it was time to start on one of those patterns in the 2026 bundle, and I don't have much to show, I'm afraid. I have this to show, which isn't like great, is it? But okay, it's just a neck. It's the neck of the Heimathafen pattern by Isabel Kramer. It's my first pattern by Isabel Kramer, so I'm very curious to see what happens with this one. I am using this time the Italian translation. I'm Italian originally, but I normally use, I knit from English patterns usually, but this time I was like, okay, let's try this one. And I'm very curious to see what Isabel Kramer's patterns are like, because I have a friend who swears by them, she loves them, and so, and this is a particularly lovely sweater that has some stripes that are not straight stripes. So there's this dipped stitch or dip stitch that Isabel has used in other designs as well, that create sort of it looks to me like a teardrop shape, and that makes the stripes a little more interesting. And I have this yarn in stash that again has been there for a long time, so that's another theme for this year. I wanted to like dig out the things that I have in my stash and that have been unused, because I want to make space for new things. So not destashing for the sake of destashing, but just putting to good use what I already have. I think the label is one of the best labels that I've ever seen. I think it's a Danish brand called Galsk, maybe, and it's a blend of wool and cotton. So again, not a summer yarn, but a like transitional yarn maybe for the spring. But I'm sure I will. I mean, being in the Netherlands, I'm sure I will use it in the summer as well for those cooler days when you need a layer. And I am knitting it at a rather open gauge, for my taste at least. I like very dense gauges, but with this one, oh, I have the swatch behind me. So you will see it better here because there's more fabric. You see that it's an open see-through gauge. Yes, but it's okay for the summer, I think. It's not the right gauge, so I have, I think, 26 stitches instead of 24, so I will have to adjust, but that shouldn't be a problem. So this little shrimp of a thing here is the first bit. I have completed the short row shaping, and I will now introduce the contrasting color for the stripes, which is this one. Is here Bommelin, which is cotton and linen blend. I'm holding it double, and it should give me the same gauge as the Galesk. So this is how they look together, or this is what they look together. Well, this is very similar to this, the Isa here, cotton linen blend, and this is also one of my this is also a combination that will go very well with my summer wardrobe, spring and summer wardrobe, but it's also great with just a pair of jeans. This is indeed a very weird let's do it again. It goes very well with a pair of jeans. I'm not trying to show you my jeans, okay. Did you hear that? There were two noisy geese flying, not geese flying by. Anyway, I'm about to start the stripes, so I will see if I can post some photos of that on Instagram when it's done. And I'm very excited to be starting on my knitting bingo, so this is something I'm really looking forward to. And after I complete my charcoal gray sweater, I think I will go big with the summer knitting, because I want to be prepared this year. I want to be prepared, and what I normally do, I'm sure most people are like that, I just wait until the summer hits to take out all my cottons and all my linen and stuff, and then it's too late, because by the time you've finished your garment, it's already time to take out the sweaters, the woolen sweaters again. So this year I want to be prepared, and I will start on some of those summer patterns that I have in my bundle. And I have some lovely ones that I'm really looking forward to knitting. So this is it for today. I think, yeah, I think I've talked about everything, and it was a lot. It's going to be a long video, so if you have been here this whole time with me, I thank you for that. I really appreciate people looking at my work, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.